Hi, I'm Lisa Von Drasek, and I'm the curator of the Children's Literature Research Collections at the University of Minnesota, and also your host of Read This Book. And today I have...
I'm Molly Bostrom, and I am a library assistant at the Magrath Library on the St. Paul campus.
What does a library assistant do?
What don't we do? I do a lot of, like access and info services stuff, so helping out at the front desk if need be, some reference stuff, and I also help support the evidence synthesis and systematic review service.
I guess my real question is, what's the Magrath Library?
So it's the main library on the St. Paul campus. It is a weird building that's hard to give directions in, but it houses like the Kirshner cookbook collection, a lot of like the agriculture and horticulture books, social work stuff. So it's a nice library. I like working there.
Fabulous. And so what did you bring with you today?
All right, I brought Duplex by Kathryn Davis, a recent favorite of mine, and my battered copy of Abarat by Clive Barker, an old favorite of mine.
Which would you like to start with, the old favorite or the new?
Let's go new favorite, because I feel like I have more instinctual things to say about Abarat. Yeah, so Duplex, I read this book maybe like for the first time last year. I say the first time, like I've reread it yet, but I haven't. But it was just such a strange book. Like normally when I read a book and I feel like I have no idea what happened, I'm a little, like that's not a selling point. But when I finished Duplex, I was like, I have no idea what that book was about, and I can't wait to reread it, so.
If there was a genre, where would you fit this very strange, I have no idea what to do with this book?
Yes, I would say it's kind of like fantasy sci-fi, but it's like fantasy sci-fi up against like, very standard like suburban, maybe more like lit fiction. And it's kind of like in the overlap, it becomes kind of like fairy tale-y or like parable-y. I was like rereading reviews of it this morning, and I'm like, I don't understand it any better, but I'm excited to reread it now that I've pulled it from my shelf.
Did you find it was a page turner?
Absolutely.
So someone looking to take themselves out of the ordinary everyday, this is the book.
This is the book. Like, I probably read it in 2 sittings. I want to say it was a bunch of the author's short stories that she kind of wove a frame narrative around. And I can see that now, like having had read it. But it just feels like you're on a roller coaster, you don't know where you're going, you don't really know how these things are supposed to connect until like 100 pages later. It's just, I've never read anything like this.
So you had a lot of aha moments as you went through.
Absolutely.
So let's look at the Clive Barker, an old friend.
An old friend. I was I looked up when this was published, and I think it was 2002. So I read it when I was like 10 or 11. So I've been like waiting for this series to finish for 2/3 of my life, and I like read it 1/3 of the way through. It's like, I'm a horror fan now as an adult, and I wasn't as a 10-year-old, but this was definitely like a gateway into horror for me.
So what I think of when I think of Clive Barker is accessibility for that transition into adult books. So from junior high into high school, both of the books that you brought to us today are great summer reads, are great, I'm having a rainy weekend and let's pull these off the shelf. And sometimes the books we read when we're younger, we reread when we're older, are a real comfort read.
Absolutely.
So you brought us 2 delicious books that are comfort reads, but also gateway drugs.
Absolutely, that is a perfect way to put it.
Well, thank you for visiting with us today, and that's all we have from Read This Book.